This is probably one of my favorites. But most people don't think of her as this serious. But this is the real Jean. She's absolutely charming, delightful, but a pretty tough competitor if you're on the court with her playing tennis.
The Clerys wanted what every parent wants for their child, a safe, comfortable place where their daughter could learn and grow. In 1985, the Clerys were looking at colleges with Jean. They eventually settled on Lehigh University in scenic Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
She just loved the campus, and I just loved the fact that it was 1 hour and 20 minutes away. She was excited. Oh, she was. She was in the safest place she possibly could have been in.
On a Saturday night in April of 1986, nobody saw the harm in propping open the door here at Jean's residence hall. After all, it made coming and going much easier. But then the unimaginable happened. As night turned to morning, another student came in through that prop door. But he wasn't coming home from a night out. He was looking for rooms to rob. Jean was asleep in her bed when he came in to her room.
He did everything. He strangled her to death, but he also raped her.
Still personal to me. Still something that I'll never forget. This is the case file for the entire Clery incident.
Ed Shoup was a public safety officer when Jean was killed, and now is the chief of police at Lehigh University.
It was my case. I was the lead investigator for Lehigh, along with two state troopers at the time when the incident occurred. And we put a lot of time and effort into a tragic incident, very tragic. My feelings always go out for the Clery family.
At that time, no laws required universities or colleges to track or disclose crimes that occurred on campus.
There had been 38 violent crimes. It was not public knowledge. Nobody would know that. Nobody knew anything. But I knew I was going to have to do something to try to prevent other parents, other students of this eternal nightmare that never goes away. Never goes away.
And what they learned was that there really was nothing governing college campus safety. There was nothing to make us aware of crimes happening on or around college campuses.
So Connie and her husband Howard worked tirelessly to convince Congress to pass the Jean Clery Act. It's a federal law that requires campuses to track crimes committed on campus and share that information with the public to make campus communities safer.
I didn't know if anyone had thoughts about getting pictures, what we could do with that in the newsletter, on the website.
Allison Kiss heads the Clery Center for Security on campus.
The goal of it is to make parents, students, prospective employees aware of crimes in or around campus, and that you have policies and procedures around emergency notification and timely warning if there's a current or ongoing threat to the community.
And that's where you come in. Campus security authorities, known as CSAs, serve a critical role in protecting your fellow students and the campus community in general. So typically, who are CSAs?
The most common would be public safety campus police officer. Next, it could be someone responsible for campus security. So it may be someone who's monitoring entrance to a residence hall. It could be someone with significant responsibility for student activities. And that's probably the broadest category of campus security authorities. That's where we're going to see resident assistants, coaches, advisors to Greek life or clubs. When students are reporting crimes, they may not go to campus police or public safety. That's where we want them to go. But they may go to someone they have rapport with or someone that they trust. That may be their advisor to their Greek club, it may be their coach, it may be their resident assistant.
Remember, CSAs are people who are designated to report crimes to public safety. So who on campus is not a CSA? Faculty who don't have responsibilities beyond the classroom, clerical or cafeteria staff, and professional or pastoral counselors acting specifically in those counseling roles. While many campuses have security features like call boxes and card access systems, it takes much more than technology to keep a campus safe. It takes the people living and learning in the community. And that's why CSAs are crucial to campus safety. Your duty is to report any and all incidents to authorities so trained individuals on your campus can investigate and accurately track crime on your campus.
CSAs on college campuses are the first line of defense. Safety is a partnership at universities. It's a partnership between coaches, between faculty, between staff, and more importantly, between students, because they're the ones that are out and about. They're the ones that feel they're invincible. But if everyone works together in the education we do, we look out for each other, it's a safer campus. And that's why CSAs are critical to every university.
When you get information or when someone comes to you and tell you something happens to them, your responsibility is to make sure you get all of that information. You are supportive to that person, but you also are making sure that people who can help and people who need to know are notified. And you're doing that in a timely manner. As far as investigating as a CSA, that is not a part of their role. There are usually people, professionals who are at the university who take care of that. Again, the most important part is that you get that information to the appropriate people so that they can do that investigation.
So just to give you an idea, I mean, I've been an RA for 3 years, so I've had a lot of experiences working in the capacity of a CSA.
These CSAs understand their role and realize they have to be ready for anything.
I have had to report CLERY-related incidents. This is my first night on duty ever. I had an alcohol-related incident.
I dealt with a sort of a drug disposal situation inside one of the dorms while we were doing routine inspections.
Something that I've dealt with recently is a boy possibly harassing residents.
We are not investigators. That's not what your job is to do. Your job is to collect the facts that are right in front of you and give them to someone else, essentially. You don't need to do anything with them. You're just reporting the facts to somebody else.
Under the CLERY Act, CSAs need to report the type of crime, the location of the crime, when it happened, and when it was reported to them. There are also certain crimes that need to be reported and counted. They include murder, sexual offenses, robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, motor vehicle theft, arson, arrest and disciplinary referrals for liquor law violations, drug law violations, and illegal weapons possession. In 2013, other crimes were added to the CLERY Act: dating violence, domestic violence, and stalking. If you're not sure if a crime is a CLERY reportable crime, it's always best to report any crime and let Campus Public Safety figure it out.
When in doubt, get as much information as you can from the person who is telling you what's going on, and then find someone who knows. Find your supervisor, whoever you're supposed to report to, and share that information.
The worst thing that could happen is that it's, they just throw it out. It's better to go on the safe side and err on the side of caution, for sure.
Under the CLERY Act, in order for a crime to be counted, it technically needs to occur on campus property, public property within or immediately surrounding the campus, or in off-campus housing or buildings managed or owned by the school. But don't get caught up in geography. Again, remember, it is always important to report all crimes to Campus Public Safety, no matter what.
They don't need to know what the contiguous geography is of the campus. That's what we need to know for our reporting and as such. They just need to know something happened, report it. Whether it could be 10 feet out of our contiguous area, it doesn't matter, it still could affect us, and we need to know it. So they just need to know they need to report it to us.
Joe McBride has worked in law enforcement for 44 years. He says the most important thing is to get the information in the hands of the experts as quickly as possible.
Well, because there may be an incident taking place that's ongoing, and it's an immediate threat to the university that we have to immediately address. It could be possible that I might have to send out an emergency text notifying the campus that something's happening. I might have to shut buildings down.
It's extremely important for us to get that information as soon as possible. Well, we can reach out through several ways. We have an alert system where we have an emergency messaging system where we can send out information via text messaging, email, cell phone, and we have a siren in place as well. All these things that, where within a very short time we can get the information out to our communities.
For orientation, we've got 2 sessions during orientation dealing with CLERY and violence against women.
And campus safety experts say it's important for CSAs to always be upfront with someone when they report an incident to you.
Tell the student in the very beginning, you're telling me this, but I want you to know that I have to report this information, and this is serious.
If I go to a CSA with a situation, I realize that it might be in their job to tell their supervisor. And if it needs to be, they probably might tell my name.
You have to share information with the proper authorities, such as public safety or the dean of students or resident life. You cannot share information with friends or roommates or anything like that.
Keep the person who's reporting this to you in mind, and always be respectful of them, and understand that you just need to do your best to help them.
If you are looking just to figure out what you want to do, or you're sort of needing to talk to somebody and you want somebody who's going to maintain confidentiality, then you want to go to the counseling center.
To be clear, the only people who can keep incidents confidential are people who are acting in their roles as professional counselors or pastoral counselors. Depending on the school, criminal incidents are initially compiled using reports like this one. Then those statistics are compiled by each school and made available to the public, so parents, students, or anyone else can see them.
The purpose of having the crime statistics is to make the community aware of the prevalence or the reports of crimes that they're getting, so the community knows what's happening.
It's not all about statistics. I think it's important that college and universities have to report statistics, but the CLERY Act is all about keeping people safe.
As a CSA, the key questions to ask yourself are, do I know who to contact and what needs to be shared if I receive a crime report? Do I know who to contact if I have questions about being a CSA? And do I know what resources are available to a victim of a crime?
So I think that the training is very important, that most people will do the right thing if they know what to do. And because CSAs do know what to do, they can put you in a much better position.
We want to make sure that the victim is getting their needs met first. I've gone to the hospital with residents before, gone to public safety. That's part of my job as a CSA, is helping them out and getting them through those tough times.
I've had to deal with a lot of sexual assaults, and I was sexually assaulted in high school, and dealing with that and being able to say, okay, well, when I went to somebody for help, I didn't get any. But now when someone comes to me, I'm able to use that experience and the desire to help them to do what wasn't done for me.
And that's what's most rewarding, the satisfaction of knowing that as a CSA, you'll not only be helping victims of crime, but also make your campus community much safer.
Helping people has been priceless. It has been one of the greatest things I've taken away from being at school, is being a CSA and helping all the people that I have.
The end of the day, I think that it really is making sure that you understand that we are all a part of a community, and it's all of our responsibility to make sure that we all feel comfortable and safe.
As a campus security authority, your role is not only to handle the technical elements of the law and the requirements of the law, but to take it one step further and to understand the spirit of the law, and in Jean's honor, to make campuses safer.
She was my best pal. She was everything to me. I just always felt in heaven when I was with her. The culture has got to change. And you've got to take this stuff seriously, because there are a lot of Jean Clerys out there. And I don't feel good about that. So it keeps me fighting.